One of these 3D printers is complete trash. One of them is pure gold. Stick around and find out which is which. Over the last year or so, I have reviewed each and every one of these 3D printers, and I've been asked a lot of times which one is the best one for the buck. And that's what we're going to go over today. Before we get into talking about which one of these is trash and which one is gold, I want to tell you a little bit about each and every one of these 3D printers. Let's start with this one right over here. This is the LK4X. It has a 220 by 220 millimeter bed, and it can do up to 250 millimeters tall. It has a dual direct drive extruder, and it costs about $300. This is the Tavope Tarantula Pro. It has a 235 by 235 millimeter bed, and it can do up to 250 millimeters. It takes a full-size SD card, and it costs about $269. This is the Kingroon KP3S Pro. It has a 200 by 200 millimeter bed, and it can do up to 200 millimeters high. It has a direct drive Titan head and linear rails, and costs about $210. This is the longer LK5 Pro. It has a 300 by 300 millimeter bed and can print up to 400 millimeters, and it costs about $300. Now that we've gotten a little bit about these, I want to go over each one and give you the goods and the bads of it. We'll start off talking about the LK4X. Let's talk about the bad things. This has an automatic leveler on it, but I had to manually level it, then auto level it, and then I had to set an offset of, I believe, 1.8. This has a worm screw for the up and down motion, and side to side it has a belt. It would be much better if it had linear rails. I'm not really a fan of where the filament sensor is at the top of the machine. The good things about this machine, it has a magnetic plate for your prints to go on. You can peel them right off of there. It has a large 4-inch touchscreen, just like on the LK5 Pro. And finally, it has a direct drive extruder, the Tavope Tarantula Pro. The bad things I found with this are quality control. Most of the screws were loose or missing when I got this. The mount under the bed, which is supposed to be a precision mount, was warped, and I had to bend it back. I found it extremely hard to level the bed. The micro SD slot is on the back of the machine, and it's very hard to get to. A majority of my prints failed on this one. A couple of good things that I did find about this machine was that it prints extremely fast. The print qualities were good. The machine looks extremely sharp. It has a large SD card in the front, and the bed size was fairly decent. The KP3S Pro. A few issues that I've had with the machine are the issues with the direct drive head, which I ended up getting a new one. The drive was clogging because of the retraction setting. It doesn't have a holder for filament. You have to use the rollers, and sometimes the filament falls off of there, which causes the print to stop. The filament sensor on the side going up through the machine is in a very bad place. I had a lot of issues when I tried to level the bed. The good things I found with this machine are the linear rails. It has a Titan direct drive. It has an SD card slot on the side, which is a very good place for it to be. The profile for this is small and compact, so you can put it anywhere. This thing comes about 95% complete, and it only took about 5 minutes to put together. When I got a hold of Kingroon about the extruder clogging up, they sent me a brand new one, and it was only within a few days. So I'd have to say their customer service is pretty darn good. Okay, time to talk about the LK5 Pro's good and bad. Some of the bad things that I had issues with for the LK5 Pro are, when I put this together out of the box, there was a wiring issue in the power box. One of the wires had been pinched, but I did open it up, reseat it, and everything worked fine from there. The instructions were not clear as to how the gantry went on to the base of the machine. When I first started printing, I did have issues with prints sticking to the glass bed, but that was fixed with some hairspray and some of the glue sticks. And lastly, this thing prints fairly slow. The pros for this machine are a 4-inch touchscreen, large print area, the largest out of all of these. It was easy to put together, And when I was putting it together, it was 90% complete, so it didn't take very long to do. I know there's a lot of things that go into buying a 3D printer. You need to know what you're going to be making, how tall it is. You need to know where you're going to be putting this thing. Are you going to have room for it? You're also going to be considering your budget. But I also want to make sure that you get bang for your buck. And I'm not going to tell you which one of these are trash yet, but I'm going to tell you which one is gold. And in my opinion, for $300, you cannot beat the LK5 Pro. This thing is my go-to printer. I use it all the time. I hardly ever have failed prints. If you notice, it's the only one with filament in it because it's the one I use on a daily basis. So the number 2 in the machines here is also a $300 machine. And that machine is the LK4X. This thing is my buddy's. It is his go-to machine for printing every day, and it's a fantastic machine. So now I've got you stumped. Which one of these two is the trash and which one isn't? So the third choice for a 3D printer would be the KP3S Pro. It is a pretty good machine as long as you can get it leveled with the arm here, because I did have issues that when I first started putting together, and get the bed leveled. Now that just leaves one machine, and that's the Tivot. This thing is absolute garbage, and let me tell you why. Here it is. Here's the original machine that we got from Tivot. This thing had been crushed in, and the whole frame is just cockeyed. We attempted to print on this thing for 2 weeks and never got a good print off of it. We finally realized something was wrong when we saw photos of this on their website and realized the front had been crushed. The SD card's also broken and the mount was bent. We immediately contacted the customer service rep and told them what was wrong with this when it got here. They immediately sent out a new one. Once we got this one and we started putting it together, we realized the lack of quality control in the company. Every single screw was loose on here. The bed leveling area, this precision mount, was bent again. I have repeatedly tried to make prints on this since the video. It has not printed correctly since. You have to level the bed after every single print. Now, this could just be me, because I've read the reviews on this and there are some really good reviews on this piece. But for me, it is the worst of the 4 that I have reviewed. It is so bad that I've got an idea. So don't judge me. If you are easily offended or afraid of guns, do not watch past this point. Now, if you don't like guns and you're easily offended, you may want to turn this thing off right now. Just turn it off, because we're about to blow something up. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you, and until next one, stay cool.